Hello friends, welcome to the world of cognitive behavioral therapy. This module will cover the introductory part of CBT. It's a branch of psychotherapy which was discovered by Dr. Aaron Beck in 1960. He was a psychiatrist who was working with a case of depression and at that time found out that the client would need something more than just medications. This thought gave rise to cognitive model of depression after much of research on different individuals who were suffering from depression, which later became the choice of therapy for most of the psycho-emotional issues. The main theme of CBT is the way you think is the way you act, and similarly your actions has an impact on your thinking. Let's see what we mean by cognitive. What comes under behavior? So, under cognitive we have memories, experiences, upbringing, environment and the interpretation we get from those. The way we look at the situation, that is perception, our core beliefs and thoughts, assumptions, imaginations derived from those. It also contains the way we feel and our emotions. The behavioral aspect covers our daily routine, way of behaving and its impact on each other, the way we respond to any situation, our actions and reactions. So, basically the act of knowing and perceiving is cognitive and the act of doing and responding is behavioral. Our memories would create experiences which will lead to beliefs and assumptions affecting our thoughts and emotions, and these would have an impact on our actions and reactions. The therapy part is inclusive of techniques with person centric approach of formulation and conceptualization. The sessions are well structured and it is an ever evolving process. As suggested by Dr. Beck, the basic principle of CBT is interrelation of thinking and action. To repeat again, the way you think is the way you act, and your action can also impact on your thinking and belief system back again. The therapy would be effective when a therapist encourages the client to think about their own thinking and then helping them to look at it from a third person's perspective. All of us have this habit of putting labels and meanings to everything around us. So, it is not the events or situation which will stimulate the thinking and feelings, but the meaning we attach to those. This pattern creates a dysfunctional thinking process which becomes the part of emotional discomfort which could lead to disorder. Beck has designed a cognitive triad. We will discuss it in detail in our module of depression. Basically, the triad helps us to understand the interpretation of self with the situation outside and with the internal environment. So, any activating event, so for example, if you have a situation. So, this is an activating event, it would further lead to your thinking, and when the situation and thinking has some role, then it goes to your emotions, that is what we feel. We have some physical sensations like palpitations or sweaty palms, and then it leads to our actions, that is the behavioral part of it. So, basically it forms the correlation of thinking. So, thinking leading to emotions, thinking having it impact on our behavior, the behavior impacting the emotions, it can go back to thinking and again thinking coming to behavior. So, basically it is something which has to be activated by a situation which may be called as a trigger or a stimulus, and this triggering event first has an impact on your thinking, then emotions, physical sensations and behavior, and this also has an interplay of thinking affecting behavior, thinking affecting emotions and they affecting each other. We all have some difficulties identifying what is thinking and what is feeling. There is a very thin line of difference in those. Let us try this out. I feel I am stupid is a thought, and I am anxious could be the feeling expressed. You can go through such examples in our PPT. There is nothing wrong or right in this. Just follow your instinct. Whenever we are dealing with any case, we have to formulate it based on some important factors, one of which is distortions, where a person develops distorted beliefs and alter or twists the fact. There are 10 or some may even consider 11 cognitive distortions. Let us have a look one by one. All or nothing thinking, also called as black and white, polarized or dichotomous thinking, like we call खाईन तुपाशी नाहीतर उपाशी. The person develops many fixed ideas and becomes rigid. Everything should be ideal or there is no point doing it at all. That is the example. Second one is fortune telling. It is to predict the future negatively without considering other or more likely outcomes. Example, I would certainly get a panic attack in a plane like last time. Third one, disqualifying or discounting the positive. The positive experiences, deeds or qualities do not count. This success is not just a part of me, but it could be part of luck. I would definitely fail next time. Emotional reasoning, to think something must be true because you feel or actually believe it so strongly, and then ignoring or discounting the evidence to the contrary. Even if this person appreciated me, I know I am not good enough. Labeling, to put a fixed global label on yourself or on others. He is stupid, I am worthless. Magnification, minimization. When you evaluate yourself, others and a situation, you magnify the negative and minimize the positive unnecessary. I am sure this tumor I have is cancerous. I do not believe in the reports. Mental filter, giving undue attention to one negative detail instead of seeing the whole picture. As my mother scolded me this time, she does not like me. Mind reading, you believe that you know what others are thinking and then overlook other more likely possibilities. He must be thinking I am stupid and he is going to cheat me. Overgeneralization, you make a wild negative conclusion that goes far beyond the current situation. The world is going to end soon because of this COVID. Personalization, you believe others are behaving negatively because of you. I must have hurt her, that is why she is crying. I am very bad. Should and must statements, you have a precise fixed idea of how you and others should behave. I should keep everyone happy and then everyone should like me. So, these are some of the distortions. Now, we will go to the schema. The term schema introduced by developmental psychologist Jean Piaget. He defined schemas as basic units of knowledge, information. Schemas help us in organizing environment around us and it also helps in comprehending new information. Schemas also aid in collecting new things and connecting it with our cognitive framework. This helps in forming references and relations. There are various types of schemas or mental structures that help us in gathering specific information. First type is object schema. This helps us in understanding and interpreting inanimate objects. Person schema help us in identifying specific persons and their gestures, for example, reactions and facial expressions of our closed ones. Third one is social schema. It helps in developing social sense. Event schema help us in finding references related to the situation and then behave accordingly. Self schema is most important, as the name suggests, it helps us understand who we are, what is our past, what could be the future consequences. The role schema is a label which we attach to certain categories. For example, how a teacher should behave or how armyman should act. Schema can be most helpful and essential aspect of CBT or any therapy for that matter. There are many childhood memories, good or bad, which lead to the way we perceive and interpret our present. If you have a traumatic emotional experience in childhood, you are more likely to be a troublesome adult. To develop healthy thoughts and positive emotions, our basic emotional needs are to be met. Love, care, understanding, safety, acceptance and guidance are some of our basic emotional needs. These mental structures plays very vital role in forming our beliefs about self, that is core beliefs, interpretations of situations and perceptions of others. Schema therapy assists us in identifying the unmet emotional needs and to rationalize those. It helps in finding core coping mechanisms we develop and to recorrect it if required. It also aids in finding our behavioral pattern, breaking them and replacing them with logical ones. In nutshell, schema based CBT help in adaptation to fit in and restructuring to cope with. Now, after distortions and schema, the third most important aspect in any case is dissonance. It simply means conflict or contradiction leading to disharmony and disparity. You have one thing in mind and you still behave completely opposite, maybe due to social pressure, peer pressure or just to please others. When we hold two conflicting beliefs or values, it would lead to mental discomfort. And who wants this discomfort? No one. So, naturally we engage ourselves in some actions which can minimize that discomfort. To avoid the conflict or contradiction, people tend to reject the facts or start giving unnecessary, undue explanations or even discount new information. We all go through such conflicts in our daily routine. Let us see what are the common signs of dissonance. Feeling uncomfortable approaching anyone or any event, trying to justify or rationalize the decision, trying to hide your actions out of guilt or feeling ashamed and regret the reactions in the past. So, let us go back to this cognitive model where we can see the schemas lead to emotions, because these are basic units of information. So, maybe information from the past that leads to forming your emotions through schemas. Then we discussed about distortions. These distortions would lead to thinking through core beliefs, or we may call it underlying assumptions. And finally, the dissonance that would lead to behavior which leads to some maladaptive practices like we have just seen, or even some illogical actions or responses. So, when we have a situation, first it goes through our core beliefs like filters, where we have distortions which lead to our thinking. Thinking can give rise to the schemas, that is unit of information what happened in the past. So, we ultimately look into that, and when we look into that, we behave in certain way through our dissonance. There could be conflict, that someone is telling that this situation is right, someone is telling it is not right. So, why we have a person centric approach is because one man's meal can be other man's poison. A person who failed the exam would feel that I am not good enough, leads to anxiety, avoid the examination. Other person may feel, okay, this gives me a chance to improve, he feels motivated and he work hard, so it can help him to grow in his learning. So, basically CBT teaches patients to identify, evaluate and respond to their dysfunctional thoughts and beliefs by using variety of techniques to change thinking, mood and behavior. We will see that in our next module. Thank you and all the best.